Hello, good morning. It's 6 o'clock GMT and you're listening to the Star Breakfast News with me, Obed Gaglo. Coming up this morning, thousands of NDC supporters to hold massive protest against the Electoral Commission in demand of forensic audits of voters' register. We'll hear from leadership of the party, plus expectations of a security analyst ahead of today's protest, and also ahead, 5-member ministerial committee set to combat illegal mining to hold crunch meeting with organized labor today as Eastern Regional Minister disagrees with calls to ban the illegal mining in the country.
No, I do not. The reasons are straight and simple. It is an economic activity. There are some who are responsible.
And senior staff of universities of Ghana insist they won't return to the negotiating table as they embark on nationwide strike over what they say is discrimination by government in the payment of some allowances. We have details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Do stay tuned.
Star News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, My Star Radio in the USA, also live on Facebook on Star 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Star 103.5 FM. Star News. Informed, in depth, in touch.
Thanks for staying. Now, thousands of NDC supporters are expected to hold a massive protest against the Electoral Commission today in demand for a forensic audit of the voters' register. According to the party, its concerns for the audits of the register have been rubbished by the Electoral Commission, thereby leaving them with no choice than to engage in a street march. Ahead of today's protest, the Deputy Director in charge of IT and elections at the NDC, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, has assured that the protest will be a peaceful one.
We are very set. In fact, we are well prepared. Almost all the 16 regions are prepared for the demonstration. We are starting at Obra Sport tomorrow 7 a.m. The demonstration will start at Obra Sport. We will move all the way to Parliament. We are going to present a petition to Speaker of Parliament. From there, we'll move to Madam Jean Mensah. We are assuring them it's going to be peaceful. The police should not waste their time because nobody is going to vandalize anything. We are coming to power. Why should we, 3 months time, we are getting to office? Why should we destroy anything that we are coming to govern? We are not going to touch anything because we want the country to be in touch. 3 months time, these people are out with their troubles so that we can govern the country properly, reset the country. So demonstration is going to be peaceful, I can assure you.
Our security analyst, Dr. Adam Bona, has also been sharing his expectation with Star News ahead of this morning's protest.
I'm expecting the demonstration to be peaceful. I would say 70% chance of the demonstration being peaceful. But you see, the times we find ourselves, the other 30%, it will be very difficult for me to predict. The simple reason is that demonstrations can usually start very peaceful. I mean, as a former student leader myself, you bring people together, but at a point, you could lose control. And once that happens, who are you going to blame? You can't blame anybody because then demonstration, we could easily have avoided it. It's just one item demonstration. But you see, if you are not careful, the cascading effect, it will end up becoming 100 item demonstration. Like it started with Nigeria recently, and then Kenya and the rest. They usually start with just one. Before you see, demonstrators begin to call for some of the things that we are all aware of. Meanwhile, probably we've been waiting for 2024 elections so that whoever wins, we swear you in. And so I think that let's not take chances because the situation on the ground, Ghanaians are complaining, just waiting because there's a lot of gunpowder in the atmosphere.
Security analyst Adam Bonade. Now, tensions in the Futu constituency of the Central Region have reached a boiling point as the ruling MPP and the opposition National Democratic Congress engage in a series of retaliatory actions over the removal of political billboards. over the weekend, more NDC billboards were allegedly cut down by NPP operatives despite earlier threats from the opposition to respond in kind. There's more in this report.
Efutu, a political hotspot, has become the center of conflict between the NPP and NDC ahead of the elections. The opposition claims that over 400 of its legally erected billboards have been removed since the 2020 election season. This weekend's removal of more NDC billboards by NPP operatives has sparked further animosity.
When it comes to action, they should believe that the leadership is here to meet. And when you hear we don't know what we can do. There are some of us, we are for peace, but when we speak, it is for war. You go to my can't say me, I didn't say me, but you know, you smoke the peace pipe.
What appears to be fueling the tension is the perceived police's lack of response to complaints.
You intercept WhatsApp conversation between my deputy and one former assembly member of an Awudu, where in that statement, Awudu was saying that they are going to pull our billboards down. This is a WhatsApp chat. And I've given all the videos and all these chats as evidence to the police. Sometimes the police is seen to be doing some selection protection. So today I asked them, if you are being fair and you are going by one Kasawu credentials, have you been fair to the NDC? And sometimes the police, sorry to say, some of them, let me use that word, some of them, even their body language and attitude, not knowing where they are standing and where they are coming from. It looks like they are even, some of them have sold their conscience. It's why you are there. They don't even care about the ethics of one professional, one partner there. Oh yeah. And so this is the sentiment from my people.
Political analyst at the Kumasi Technical University, Professor Smart Sapong, weighed in, describing the situation as unnecessary and harmful to the democratic process.
Let us tolerate one another. The essence of billboards and posters, apart from addressing the issue of visibility, if you mount all the billboards and you do not interact with up to about 80% of voters in your constituency, your competition is disadvantaged. So if one day you destroy all the NDC billboards in the constituency and it is left with MPP billboards only, and the NDC candidate is able to interact with not less than 80% of the voters, you would not be surprised that the one that had the biggest billboards and the most dominating billboards will lose. They should learn that and stop majoring the minors. Destroying somebody's billboard is a minor. It doesn't guarantee you a win. It is unnecessary. It will only provoke internal conflicts, which may degenerate into marring the entire beauty of the expected December 7th elections.
He urged the NPP to halt the needless provocative actions and focus on campaigning rather than exacerbating tensions.
You cannot tie my hand at my back and slap me or give me punches and expect me to sit and look on. Even though I am not saying they should retaliate in a manner that will degenerate the peace, I think they still have to react. I mean, the most appropriate way will be to report to the police. But you and I know some of these people, we expect them to solve a problem for us, how inertia some of them behave sometimes. So let all stakeholders hear and so be advised that the act of destroying someone else's billboard or banner is illegal, and in fact, it doesn't add to your chances of winning an election.
As tensions remain high, the coming days will likely see further clashes unless swift interventions are made.
Away from that, the 5-member ministerial committee constituted by President Akufo-Addo to address the illegal mining menace is set to hold a crunch meeting with organized labor later today. This follows joint calls by organized labor, religious, traditional leaders, and other advocacy groups for a ban to be placed on the menace in the country. In response, government has again deployed the police and the military to clamp down on those engaged in such acts, which have polluted the environment and left the water bodies in the country discolored. But speaking to Star News ahead of the meeting today, President of the University Teachers Association, Professor Mahamudu Akadugu, has said organized labor will not back down on its demands for a complete ban and declaration of a state of emergency on the Galamsey menace.
Our demand was straightforward. Ask that there should be a ban, and then whatever conversations can be had on the issue, then we can have those conversations. So we have no problem with government setting up a 5-member ministerial committee to engage stakeholders, but it doesn't take away the fact or our demand that there should be an immediate ban because the distractions are still ongoing. So what we need is to stop the distractions, and then we can have the conversations as to how to proceed from there.
But Doug, an association like the Responsible Small Scale Miners Association says that outrightly banning the mining in the country will be detrimental to the economy. Don't you agree?
Polluting the water bodies and poisoning our food system is not detrimental to the country. It's equally detrimental, even more detrimental to the country than the 1 million or so people that are said to be engaged in small-scale mining.
Now, meanwhile, Eastern Regional Minister Seth Kwame Champon has rejected calls for a complete ban on illegal mining.
No, I do not. The reasons are straight and simple. It is an economic activity. There are some who are responsible. I need to give a little bit of history here. At the outset of the second term of the Secretary of the President, he got the minister responsible for the natural resource and lands and forestry to issue a total ban on all extractive activity in the country. We stop every extractive activity, both large and small here. And got members who were involved in that sector, extractive sector, to assemble for us to engage on responsible mining. And that is how we started. And thereafter, we went on and commissioned all those small-scale mining enterprises to work. But the truth be said that besides people legally and doing their legitimate business of small-scale mining, there are some recalcitrants who go out there on the water bodies and in the forest without legal authority, and they are the ones we've been battling. So I would not call for an absolute ban on small-scale mining. It will be difficult for this economy, and we are going to worry and we are going to suffer because people need employment. People need to work. There are some who are genuinely working. It is not all small-scale miners who are mining irresponsible. No, I do not support that for it.
And this how wrap up this morning's bulletin. Grateful for your time. My name is Obed King Gaglo. Have a blessed day.
Refreshing you with the best music.